Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can echo through someone's life forever. In this story will remind you that you never truly know who you're serving, or how much a simple coffee can change everything. So stick around, because by the end, you might just believe in miracles again. The diner had just opened its doors for the morning rush. The scent of burnt toast, sizzling bacon, and hot coffee filled the air. The world outside was cold, foggy, and gray, but inside, the clink of silverware and low hum of old rock ballads offered a tiny comfort. At table 6, near the frost-covered window, a little girl with big hazel eyes sat silently, her small hands wrapped around a cup of lukewarm water. Across from her sat a man, tired, unshaven, and staring blankly out the window. They hadn't ordered anything, they hadn't spoken, just sat there. Maya, the waitress on duty that morning, noticed. Of course she did, she was good at reading people. Years of working double shifts, struggling to keep her brother in school, and sleeping in a crumbling studio apartment had sharpened her instincts. She knew what hunger looked like, and this man wore it like a second skin. He wasn't homeless. His coat was clean, though old. His shoes, worn but polished. His daughter had ribbons in her hair, albeit frayed at the ends. They were trying. They just didn't have enough. She approached them quietly with her notepad and her practiced smile. "Morning. You two all right?" The man looked up, startled. He blinked as if her voice had brought him back from somewhere far away. We're okay. Just warming up, waiting on someone." The girl glanced at her father, then turned her eyes back down to the table. Maya hesitated. She could have walked away, but something in her heart wouldn't let her. She remembered cold mornings like this one, days she had nothing but water, pretending it was tea. Her mother used to do the same. God, how she missed her. "Tell you what," she said, closing her notepad. "On the house. 1 coffee and a hot chocolate. Extra cream and sprinkles." The man opened his mouth to protest, but she shook her head. "You'd be doing me a favor. I hate dumping out the last of the morning brew." "Sit tight." She walked off before he could say anything else. Behind the counter, she poured the drinks with a quiet ache in her chest. She'd given away meals before, but this felt different. Maybe it was the way the man looked at his daughter, like she was his whole world. Like she was all he had left. When she returned, the little girl's eyes lit up at the sight of the whipped cream mountain on her cocoa. Her father looked at Maya like she was handing him the keys to a kingdom. "Thank you," he said, barely above a whisper. "You didn't have to. I wanted to," she replied gently. "Some days, we all need a little kindness." He nodded. "I'm Nathan. This is Ellie." Maya smiled. "Nice to meet you both. I'm Maya. Let me know if you need anything else." She turned to leave, but Ellie suddenly piped up. "Miss Maya, your necklace, it's pretty." Maya blinked. She reached for the tiny locket around her neck, an old thing with her mother's picture inside. "Thank you, sweetie. It was my mom's. She must have been nice," Ellie said. Maya's throat tightened. She gave a nod and hurried off before her emotions betrayed her. Hours passed. The father and daughter lingered at the booth long after the coffee was cold. Maya served other customers, washed dishes, refilled condiments. But she kept glancing over. Eventually, the man stood up and walked over to the counter. I hate to ask this," Nathan said awkwardly. "But, is there any way I can do some work here? Wash dishes or mop floors? I need to get my daughter something to eat. I'll do anything." Maya froze. She knew that tone, the desperate dignity. "I don't own the place," she said gently. "But, give me a sec." She called the manager from the back. Frank was gruff, with thick arms and a soft heart buried under sarcasm and coffee stains. She pulled him aside. "Can we help him out? Just today?" Frank squinted at the man, then at the little girl. "He handy, willing to mop, honest eyes." Frank sighed. "Fine, 1 shift, lunch and $20. Don't make it a habit." Maya turned back with a grin. "You got a job, Nathan." He didn't speak. His mouth trembled. For a long moment, he just stood there, blinking fast. And then he said the words Maya never expected. "You just saved us. Thank you. Later that day, after the shift ended and Ellie had eaten a full plate of mac and cheese, Maya sat at the back table on her break, sipping tea. Nathan walked over, freshly changed, hair combed back. He looked like a different man. "I know you didn't do all this expecting anything," he began, "but you should know, I'm not who you think I am." Maya chuckled. "You're a dad, a good one." That's who I see. He looked down, then pulled something from his coat, a business card. He slid it across the table. She stared at it. Nathan Ellis, CEO, Westridge Ventures. Her eyes widened. This is a joke, right? He shook his head. Not a joke. I walked away from everything after my wife died. I lost myself. I've been traveling, hiding, wandering. My daughter, she's the only reason I keep going. He looked her in the eye. And today, you reminded me what kindness feels like. Maya didn't know what to say. She looked at the card again, then back at him. Why didn't you tell anyone? He smiled softly. Because I needed to know who I was without all of it. And because sometimes, it's the poorest hearts that give the richest love. Like yours. Maya blinked back tears. I just gave you coffee. What if one kind act could shift your entire future? What if that free cup of coffee was the start of something bigger than either of them ever imagined? Stay till the end, you won't believe what this waitress's kindness leads to. Maya didn't sleep that night. She lay awake in her tiny apartment, the city lights sneaking through the blinds, heart pounding with a strange mix of disbelief, confusion, and hope. A millionaire, a real-life CEO, and she'd given him a coffee like she would anyone else. But now she kept replaying his words in her mind. You gave me hope. Who was Nathan Ellis really? Why had he walked away from everything? And why did it matter so much to her? The next morning, she arrived at the diner early. She didn't expect to see him again. Men like him didn't exactly return for second helpings of diner coffee. But there he was, at the same booth, this time with a gentle smile and a fresh bouquet of wildflowers in front of him. I thought I'd return the kindness, he said, standing up. Maya blinked. Wow, you didn't have to. I wanted to, he replied, echoing her own words from the day before. He nodded to Ellie, who peeked out from behind a coloring book. She insisted we come back. Maya knelt down beside the booth. Did you finish that hot chocolate yesterday, Miss Ellie? The girl nodded, grinning. And I drew you something. She handed Maya a folded piece of paper. It was a crayon drawing of the diner. In it, Ellie stood with Maya holding hands. A smiling sun hovered above them, and in bold letters, it said, "Nice people make sunshine." Maya couldn't hold back the smile, or the tears pricking at her eyes. Nathan sat down across from her, watching her closely. You remind me of my wife, he said softly. She used to say the world needed more quiet heroes. People who show up for others. Even when no one's watching. Maya looked down. I'm not a hero. I'm just a waitress trying to survive. No, Nathan said, you're the reason I remembered who I am. And I want to help you remember who you are. Over the next week, Nathan kept returning. Every day, same booth. Sometimes with Ellie, sometimes alone. He never asked for favors. He just sat, talked, listened. Maya found herself opening up more than she ever had with anyone. She told him about her mother, how she died of cancer when Maya was 18, leaving her to care for her little brother. How her dreams of culinary school had vanished the moment she took that first waitress job to pay the bills. How some days, she couldn't even imagine a future beyond greasy aprons and sore feet. But Nathan listened, not like a CEO, not like a man with money or status, but like a friend. Someone who saw her, really saw her. One day, he waited until her shift ended. Come with me, he said. She hesitated. Where? Just trust me. They drove in silence to a building across town, modern, glass-lined, beautiful. A logo on the wall read Westridge Ventures. This is your office. Nathan nodded. Used to be. Haven't stepped in since my wife passed. But today, I want to show you something. They took the elevator to the 12th floor. The doors opened to a warm, cozy space, nothing like the cold corporate offices Maya imagined. There was a test kitchen, a row of empty desks, a whiteboard filled with colorful notes about community outreach programs and food access for low-income families. This was her dream, Nathan said quietly, to open a nonprofit wing of the company. She wanted to support small businesses, help people start over. She called it, Second Cups. Maya walked slowly, taking it all in. I want you to run it. She froze. What? I mean it, he said. You've lived it. You understand struggle. But more than that, you understand people. That's what this needs. Maya stared at him, overwhelmed. I don't have a degree. You're exactly who this was built for, he said. And I'll help you learn everything you need. Just say yes. Her heart thundered in her chest. This was impossible. This was insane. This was everything she'd once dreamed of, and thought she'd lost forever. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I'll try. Nathan smiled, and for the first time since his wife's death, he felt a piece of light break through the clouds. Weeks passed. Maya worked harder than ever, learning, building, hiring staff who'd been overlooked or forgotten. She turned second cups into more than a charity, it became a movement. And Nathan, he stayed by her side, not just as a mentor, but as something more. The lines between friendship and something deeper slowly blurred. One afternoon, they were walking back from a community event when he turned to her and said, "You changed everything, you know." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Me? I just gave you a coffee." "No," he said, "you gave me a reason to come back to life. You gave Ellie back her father. You gave me back to myself." She looked into his eyes, her voice soft. "You did the same for me." And in that quiet moment, on a street corner bathed in sunset, they kissed, not with fireworks or fanfare, but with the quiet understanding that both of them had found something they thought they'd never have again. A second chance. Epilogue. A year later, Second Cups had opened 5 community kitchens and helped over 200 families. Maya stood at the front of a packed auditorium, accepting an award for her work. She wore a simple dress, her mother's locket around her neck, and a radiant smile. Nathan and Ellie stood in the front row, clapping the loudest. When she took the mic, Maya paused, tears in her eyes. "I used to think my story was small. That I didn't matter. But one day, I gave a man a coffee, not knowing he was a millionaire. And that one act of kindness changed both of our lives. If you take anything from this tonight, let it be this. You never know who you're helping. You never know what someone's carrying. And sometimes, the tiniest act of love can be the beginning of the greatest miracle." The crowd rose to its feet. Clapperboard, if this story moved you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still believes in kindness. You never know, your small act might be the next big miracle. Sparkling heart.